McCowan and Shannon back with you, and we are with our sports business analyst, Brian Cooper, is with us.
You have now an official job on the podcast, Brian. That's good.
Oh, thanks, John.
It'll reflect in your pay.
I was just going to say, when the check comes.
Now.
Oh, God.
You spent 10 years on the board of Hockey Canada, working primarily with sponsorship dollars when you were still working, of course. So you have a little insight as to what this company is about. And they've taken a lot of heat, and justifiably so, I think, over the last while. But Bob Nicholson, the former head of Hockey Canada, now with the Edmonton Oilers, spoke yesterday. What did you take from Mr. Nicholson's address?
Well, first of all, Bob, I was 10 years on the Hockey Canada Foundation board, which does a lot of the sponsorship and marketing related to the foundation and to the organization itself. And and I'm not speaking on behalf of Brian Cooper as chairman of MKTG Canada or on behalf of Brian Cooper as a chair of Canada Basketball. I'm speaking to someone that was close to the situation of the operations, the business operations. And, I got to tell you, well, first of all, Bob and Scott and John, you know them, and so do you, Bob. I would never question the integrity of either one of these individuals. That does not diminish the gravitas and the egregious nature of what has been alleged by these incidents in 2018 and 2003. But the Hockey Canada board, when Bob took it over, was destitute financially. They built that organization in prudent business manner. They've, as Canadians, we were all along for the ride. That this was probably the most unifying event, initiative, and symbol of our country. Sometimes more so than anything else. Largest television audiences when we're watching the Olympics in 2010, and we're all pounding our chest because we were globally dominant in hockey. 2002, when we first came back with the golden men and women, it's a unifying symbol because that's the only thing that Canadians we were globally dominant in. The NSO itself, Hockey Canada itself, doesn't have control of the grassroots. Doesn't have control of a human behavior. It can hardly reach down with its sponsors to go and tell the local team in Brampton of what they're going to be wearing on their jersey, or we have a national sponsor that's going to do a program. They can hardly reach down to that. They fund those programs. They take funds back from those programs in terms of registration as well. A lot of people were saying that, this was Johnny's registration money that was going to pay off sexual assault settlements. First of all, that's not true. The registration dollars, and I could be a little off on the numbers, but I think I got them pretty right. On an annual basis, registration is about $1.8 million to Hockey Canada. Johnny's $3 that goes in to Hockey Canada. They have an annual budget between $45 and $65 million a year. These are mixed revenues that go to fund these various legacy funds, et cetera, that are used to, and this is a prudent business decision. Any business would do this. You set up funds for unanticipated, uninsurable situations. And it's whether it's Graham James or the situation they're going through now, or Johnny's daddy, got upset at the game and attacked the ref, or on ice, player, two hands, another kid across the back. And there are many situations, two parents fighting in the stands. These are uninsurable acts that they may be enjoined in a lawsuit. And that is what these funds are used for, not just sexual assault.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Brian yesterday. I think both Pat and Bob talked about Brad Horning. And I think we've forgotten Brad Horning, who was a junior hockey player in Regina that became a quadriplegic.
Right.
And there was a massive injury payout. And that didn't come from the Western Hockey League or the Saskatchewan Minor Hockey Association.
Or their insurance.
Or the insurance. That came from one of these funds.
Well, and I got to tell you, when you're competing, the competitive nature of sport brings out negative issues. You're aggressive. Your disciplinary control goes down. You see somebody gets hot-headed on the ice or in the stands. I mean, that's what sport does. And they have done everything, that they can without being sitting next to the guy in the stands to stop it. I mean, they had a campaign. Remember the hitting from behind? They had the
stop sign,
the
stop
stop sign on the back. They put in codes of conduct, and Bob said they didn't go far enough. And Bob admitted to a number of things that he wished he could have done more: stricter policies, more oversight, less in camera, and more minuted meetings. But at the same time, they grew the game. They were the first. Well, the women's game. Talk about inclusivity and diversity. They had specific campaigns to go out to reach new Canadians. And part of those were the sponsors that we brought in, that they were developing programs that would grow the grassroots level. Hockey's an expensive sport. They developed programs that would provide financial assistance for kids entering the first step of the game, for equipment, for registration. The foundation, I don't know how many rinks they renovated and gave money to. The galas that we all attended, and I chaired a number of them for the foundation. Half of those funds raised, like $500,000, went back to the local community. So there was a lot of good that was done and continues to be done. Were they wrong in these cases? I think the wrong part about these is there's no consequences meted out. Graham James had consequence. These players, because of the nature of the situation, and they're restricted by legalities. This woman who put it forward said NDAs, doesn't want anybody involved with named, and so they have to abide by the law.